All righty, traders. This is Blake Morrow. You were listening to the Morning Edge webinar. I hope everybody's having a great trading session. Happy Friday to everybody. I guess to start, we have to just look around and just realize how strong the dollar is across the board, and just take note of it because, obviously, if you are short the dollar, you got to be a little careful, especially with the euro back at 117. I still think that right now, and I'm really, I have to say, I was kind of floored by yesterday's dollar pullback. It kind of like was one of those out of left field type of things. And I think the market does that quite a bit. It's like when you think something is going to happen, like, the Fed, announced that, they're going to taper. Stocks went up and you're like, huh? And then yields broke out and you're like, okay, I get that. And then, but the dollar goes down. You're like, huh, that's weird. So like the dollar seemed like, to me, it was playing a little catch up, and it has played a little catch up here today. But just looking at the dollar, I think you have to, be aware that we are closing in on some pretty key levels. And I think the dollar needs to be, you got to let the dollar break out. Let's go over to the 4-hour chart here, the dollar index. And I mean, you can see this range is very clear. We wrote it yesterday, maybe the last 2 days, but it's very, very clear right now. So let the market do the work for you versus you figuring out where you're going to do the work, right? And matter of fact, I'm just really considering taking off all of my dollar rand here, but I don't want to because I think the markets are like in a little trouble. So just let me show you really quick. So I think the stock market is coming down. Chad said there's a gap fill on the S&P. Chad was saying the gap fill here, thus the run up. Yeah, I mean, we did fill the gap, and I think stocks are coming back down again. And I do think that we're going to continue lower towards this trend line. I think that's where we're going. So that the reason why I'm not pulling I'm long dollar rand. If you guys are not in the chat rooms, I'm long. I took half of it off this morning at 1496, I think, on this breakout. But I bought it yesterday at 67, I think 69, somewhere around there. 67 is my average right now. So I mean, this has been a big trade for me. It's actually done me really well this week because I've been long the dollar rand 2 different times, and it pays really well. So, and I'm like looking at it. Oh, all right, well, if I can get a dip back down towards this 14, like just below this, this resistance here, like these little spike highs right around 1487 or so, I'm going to buy some more down here. I'm probably going to add, but it's like, should I take it all off right now? It's the questions that you have, right? Anyway, so let's figure out what we're going to do with everything else. So here's the euro. Obviously, the euro is back at support 117. We should note really the 116.80, 85, and then 116.65, right? That's key. I've got such a long day today. And you know, when do you guys ever start your day and your eyes are watering at the very start of your day? That's how mine are. I'm like, man, it's only 6 o'clock in the morning and my eyes are already watering. What the hell? And it's not allergies either. So here's your 1665. This is 1685. Resistance now is this trend line that also coincides with the 117. Well, you have 117 spike high and 55. That's going to be resistance on the way back up. I'm sorry, it just is. So 117.50. I think yesterday we wrote 17.50 and 17.80. I think, or no, we wrote 17.60. And we made it as high yesterday after writing that as 17.50. So probably should just keep that 1760 as a resistance. Oh, sorry. Dealing with my eyes here. Okay. Where am I at? What am I doing? Okay. Sterling. Nice little bounce here in the sterling. I still think it's just kind of floppy fishing around. Is that even a thing? It's a floppy fish. Do you know when fishes flop? When they're dying. They're losing breath. It's a floppy fish. They're fighting for breath. Kevin says, yes, it's floppy fish. That's the sterling right now. It's floppy fish. It's floppy fishing. If you it's about ready to lose all of its breath here, you know, if we start breaking below 136. But anyway, 50% retracement should hold. See this the spike high really held there. So, you know, I'll just call it 137.50. Support 136. Hold on really fast. Just stand by 1 second. Okay. Aussie. Okay, so support is going to be right here at 72. Well, notice the channel support. I think that's where we said support would be on the update this morning. $72.40 level. We went as low as 72.36. So I was off about 4 pips. Not bad. But you can see why it's being supported there, right? Okay. Ultimately, the support is right there. So 73.20, 72.20. Unfortunately, we're going to stay in a range. Gosh, it sucks because I really thought as of Wednesday we were going to break these ranges, but no. Support 69.80. Resistance is that 618 at 71 cents. I mean, it is. I know we've been writing 60 980, 69.90. Just write down 69.80. I think that'll be it. Okay. Dollar CAD. What to do with the dollar Canadian? All I know is you should be buying down here. But the question is, are we even going to get down there? So 125.80 just in case. Oh, one thing I want you guys to see really fast. Let's see why we started. Hold on. Let me just do this really quick. That today's high was a 38% retracement, just FYI. So that's going to be kind of significant today. So I'm going to write down 127.35. But if we break above that, get a little bit of oomph. I want to show you guys, if you missed it, I want to show you crude. So crude relative strength is, looks like we're slightly divergent, hit the 78% retracement. So crude should be coming down. So if crude comes down, that's going to help it's going to build the case for, a bullish dollar CAD and a bullish, US dollar, Norwegian krona, type of move. Just some food for thought, right? Hold on, guys. Sorry, just doing something really quick. Okay. Dollar Swiss, dollar yen, dollar Swiss. 92, 93.30. Dollar yen. So dollar yen's trying to break out. Look at that. As you got to be a little careful here with this Japanese election, right? So just, a lot of fuss around that. So next stop is this 110.80. We should be supported on dips now at 110.40 and then 110.10. So oops. I don't want to say it's bullish yet, but man, this is close to turning bullish. I'm not gonna flip it to bullish today, but it's getting close. Dollar MEX, big resistance, big resistance. We break 2022, and I'm gonna be celebrating, but B, I think it's going to be a good confirmation that we're going a little risk off here. So, okay. Now I know if you're short, you're just so happy if it gets back down to 20, right? Like, wouldn't you be happy if you were short, if it got back down to 20, you'd be like, thank God. Disaster averted, right? I'm not flipping that to bullish yet. We're still in a range. Dollar Norway, as you guys know, if you follow the patterns in play, I went long US dollar Norway yesterday. Not huge, but I'm playing this megaphone pattern. So 855, and I mean resistance is 880. I don't think there's a whole lot to do if you're in the middle of it all. But whoops. I do think we're going to the upper end of that megaphone pattern. Gold looks like crap on a stick.
Less crap than silver.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, silver is not looking too hot either, for sure. But gold breaks through this 1735. We should trade down towards 1710. So I'm going to write down both those numbers. 1710, 1735. And while you're below 1780, I think you got to remain bearish. Silver is bearish too. And silver looks like we're going to be, remember this about silver. Now I'm going to go back to our conversations from a week and a half ago. There's this spike low down here. If you feel that you want to buy silver, okay, this I think is, what's got to hold this 2160 level. I'm not sure if we're going to hold it, but I'm going to write it down. All right. So even if we break this low, just know that, I'll just call it 2170. 2170 is huge. Okay. And I do think while we're below 23, you have to focus on the downside. Bitcoin. China's trying to say that it's completely illegal. But, Brent Donnelly pointed out this morning, it's, they've done that about, a bunch of times already. So it's, not anything new. Just that's what's weighing on it right now. I do think it's trading like pretty heavy though. We didn't quite make it to, back up towards resistance. I still think that this trend line is probably going to be significant, but, all right, support right now is 40,000. Resistance is going to be 45. Things are tightening up a little bit. I'm going to keep us in range with Bitcoin, but I think the range is now tightening up here.
It's pretty funny that for crypto funds, getting official status in El Salvador is like huge news. Being banned completely in China, nothing to worry about.
That's because China's said that before.
Yeah, I know.
But I mean, it's kind of like, it's kind of like the parent that says, I'm going to ground you if you keep doing that, and they never ground them. You know what I mean? It's so there's no repercussions. So who cares? China can talk crap all they want. They're not going to do anything, right?
I wouldn't be that sure.
Well, I mean, what they keep saying it, nothing's happening. I mean, maybe at one point we'll go, oh,
that's
yeah.
what they meant.
Yeah, but until they do, who cares? All right. We're going to live on the edge until then, Steve. Living on the edge.
Yeah,
S&P.
baby.
All right. Here's your SPOOs. So I almost said something. Do you guys how many of you guys does anybody know what Blues Clues is?
Blues Clues.
Blues Clues. Anybody know what Blues? It's a parent. Carl knows. Carl, Hugo. Yeah. Raj is laughing. Yeah. So you guys, some of you know what Blues Clues is. Blues Clues is a 25. They just celebrated their 25th year. Hugo said, you just figured out Blues Clues? No, I almost said something that rhymed with Blues Clues. So Blues Clues is this children's show they celebrated 25 years, and it's on Nickelodeon, the kids channel. I'm veteran Blues Clues person. Steve, who was the original Blues Clues dude, is the guy that we used to watch when my kid was, Steve was, he was started 25 years ago. And I was watching the special, and I almost said something that rhymed with Blues Clues. That's why I was thinking about it. I don't know why I don't know why I mentioned that right now, but don't ever, I'll start getting these like rhymes in my head. Like I can still hear them 15 years later.
Wait a second. How old is Nickelodeon?
Huh?
How old is Nickelodeon? Yeah.
Oh, God. I don't know.
Because we got it in Greece like a few years ago. So I didn't know it's still that old.
Oh. I can hear them in my head. I can't say them. Looking for clues, Blues Clues, finding a letter, blah, blah, blah. And oh my God, I hear it all in my head and it's so annoying. So annoying. Anyway, support 4,400.
There's a specific diagnosis for people that hear things in their head.
I watched a special like they were celebrating the 25 year whatever, and I looked at Steve, who's the original Blues Clues guy, and I'm like, oh my God, you're so old. Like, what does that make me? Anyway, S&P. I feel while we're below 4,500, we have to stay bearish. And I think the risk is still that we can trade all the way up to here. So, but you see that Gartley is holding. Anyway, now that we found a letter, Steve, it's all yours. Blues Clues. Okay, it's yours. See you guys. I'm letting you take over. I have to go take a shower and I've got a bunch of interviews today. So.
Okay, mate.
All right. I didn't get any of that Blues Clues thing and why he said it, but hey, it's Blake.
Don't you want to know? Oh, I know. I was rhyming and then,
but you didn't give us a rhyme though.
I don't know because I can't sing and I can't rhyme.
What the hell?
I hear it in my head, but I can't do it for you. I'm sorry.
You never could. You never could do it for me, Blake. Don't worry.
Oh, it's funny. Okay, see you guys.
Okay, so let me just upload. Yes, I'm uploading. Okay, so
what do you have for us?
Well, first of all, get rid of your paperweights. Gold, silver. They're good for nothing. Just get rid of them. And throw them away. Don't even sell them. I mean, everybody hates them. I'm kidding, obviously.
You can come pick them up if you want.
We have equities a little bit lower today, but after yesterday's big rally, it's I won't even count it as a down day. Really, it's just cryptos that are moving today. FX still very choppy. I mean, really, cryptos and metals are the ones that are moving and they're going down. Cryptos, I understand why. Metals, I don't. Yes, yields are a little bit higher. So 10-year US is nudging towards 145. But real yields still extremely negative. And it's a little bit worrying for us bulls that with such negative real yields, they're still not performing. Like silver is still at levels where we were. Let me go back and see. Yeah, after the COVID crash, basically July, we broke above $20, and then we've been between 20 and 30 since July 2020. And even worse, we're at same levels as we were in 2013. And guess what's happened to the the Fed's balance sheet and money supply since then? It's gone tenfold. So that's a bit worrying for bulls, but it obviously depends on what time frame you're looking at and how leveraged you are. And
Patience,
I'm
my
still
friend. Patience is going to
sitting
pay
on my
out.
hands. I really want to get very, very long, but this price action is keeping me from doing that. I'm long, but not as long as I really want to be. And I'm just waiting. I can't do anything else. So I'm waiting. I'm also waiting. Remember that URA ETF that we looked at?
Absolutely.
Where I did say here on the webinar and in the chat room, I got out of a lot of my longs at 25.25, where we're down to 23.70 something now, and in that zone again. I'm actually not going to play it this time because I think this time we're going to go lower.
Yes,
but
we are.
I'm gonna.
We are because you remember we talked about this scenario.
Yes.
When we found support there. So it's more than clear. I mean, this is a textbook example here. It's more than clear that the rebound was corrective in nature, and
yes.
This chart, this short-term view. I know I'm on the daily, but still, I mean, we've zoomed in just a few days, so I still consider it a short-term view. Is sending too many signals, in my opinion. Signal number one. Notice how every single of the prior days we were higher on the day.
Yes, and closed lower. Yeah.
Yes, and yet we closed at the lows. That's number one. Number two, look how, despite all that, putting some kind of a rebound for 3 days, we never even managed to close the gap from that day, right? We almost made it there, but we never even closed the gap. Now, this type of price action tells you all you need to know. And the answer is that, yes, we have to first go lower from what it seems like before we can continue higher. Also, notice how we have a penis formation.
Come on. Head and shoulders, yes. Laura just wrote that. Yes, head and shoulder.
Yeah. Exactly.
We have to edit that out from the recording. Come on.
No, sorry, I'm not censoring myself. No, we can have a little bit of a humor, I think. So yeah, it's not exactly what is considered ideal. I had a reason other than having fun for calling it a penis formation. It's because in this case, the shoulders seem tiny and we have quite a big head, but it's still a head and shoulders formation. And as you see, there's also a decent symmetry between the shoulders. So yeah, that would have a measured target.
I'd love it to see a 20 handle. I would love to see that.
That has a measured target of 18.5, actually. So yeah, I think it's very, very dangerous for somebody to be long here. Of course, you can be long here with a, for a like super great risk reward trade with a stop below the lows we had, that day. I doubt it's going to work. I very, very much doubt it's going to work. So yeah, I think we have to move lower first.
Yes, I agree. That's why I'm holding off this time. And as I said before, I'd love to see a 20 handle, but you said 18.5. Anyway,
yeah, that's the measured target of the head and shoulder formation. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned yields. What you didn't mention, which in my opinion is one of the important developments of the last 24 hours, is that yields, of course, took with them USD yen. And we talked about USD yen. USD yen was retesting again. I'm going to show it now. First of all, I want to show how I think that US 10-year yields are breaking higher. At least they seem to. And obviously, not coincidentally, we've been having the same type of development here in USD yen. That obviously affects and can affect the rest of the yen pairs. So, I wouldn't dismiss this development over here. I think it's, just the fact that we tested and retested again and again and again this trend line and held, I think makes this break one that you should respect, with the next upside target obviously being at 111.64, which is this previous high. And if we don't get in risk-off mode, then the rest of the yen pairs should also do well. And the reason I say if we don't get in risk-off mode, we discussed specifically yesterday the potential for the dollar to move lower, given that this rebound is not going to prove to be corrective, but it's going to prove to be the beginning of another move higher, and we might have, in case we might have found a low at 43.07, right? Now, for the time being, I said that 44.55 is a key pivot area. For the time being, we did find resistance and we did get rejected from this confluence of resistances yesterday. During the past hour or whatever it is, we are making another attempt now to attack this same area. So, in my opinion, it's all about what happens with the indices. We start moving higher once again. I think that the dollar is going to crack. And in this case, in combination with USD yen breaking higher, I would expect the yen pairs, euro yen, pound yen, you name it, to do very well. So let's have a look at them, one by one. Here is euro yen. First of all, it's broken out from this probably corrective channel. Second of all, it's currently testing the 61.8. I think there is a very good chance we're going to break out, in which case I think you should be looking for new highs. Now, having to do with pound yen still confined within some kind of a triangle, most likely, or whatever. We break through 152.25, and I think we're golden. I think we're moving much, much higher. Now, Aussie yen break above this trend line, back testing it. So, we might be on our way higher if we indeed break through that. Kiwi yen, still some distance for a breakout, but in general, I do believe that I'm just showing the 4-hour charts now to be a little bit more short term, right? I still believe that probably we're going to get a break higher. And if you want to look at the daily charts, here's the Aussie yen breaking out of this corrective channel. Here it is, breaking out of this corrective channel after back testing this broken channel. Now here is Kiwi yen. Notice how Kiwi yen broke above this red channel, came down, back tested it, and it seems to be breaking out from this wedgie formation. There it is, right? So I do think that yen pairs have the potential of doing very, very well, as long as we don't go back in risk-off mode. Now, you mentioned, Stelios, the cryptocurrencies being on the move today for obvious reasons, as you said. It's not a big surprise. Let me see on the 4-hour chart. Actually, it's not a big surprise because here is Bitcoin still moving within this descending channel. Here is Ethereum. Look where Ethereum got rejected. And I do think there is potential for more downside. So I would have to say against 31.63 in the case of Ethereum, and against 45,000 in the case of Bitcoin, there is a good case to be made that we might see lower levels. If you remember, I was skeptical if we had seen the end of the corrective move lower, and there is a very good likelihood that today's news are going to be the catalyst to begin the next leg lower. Now, I don't know how low this move might take us, but definitely this is a good start for the next leg lower to begin. Now, in the case of Bitcoin, we've We've said multiple times how important the 42,500 area is. Now, to be frank, the next very important area, you have to go down to 30,000 to find it. So there is there is quite a big distance that Bitcoin can cover without too much of a technical support in the way. And, given the fact that we know how prone cryptocurrencies can be to like massive moves in short periods of time, I don't find it that unlikely. What else did we have? Yeah, crude oil couldn't care less about any of that. Producing higher highs, in my opinion, still doing everything right. Natural gas, nice rebound yesterday. Now, I have to be very, very honest. I'm not very convinced that we've seen the end of this corrective move. Perhaps, we need to do something like this, right, before higher. So keep that in mind. We might still have more to go before this corrective move is over, but I do think that this is a corrective move and we're going to see higher levels sooner rather than later. Now, Blake mentioned precious metals. I intervened to mention that silver definitely looks worse than gold. Notice how silver got rejected after backtesting this green trend line support as a resistance. And yeah, but I mean, there is a very, very good case to be made that we are on our way to $21, which is the next confluence of supports, right? Short-term speaking and technically speaking, there is nothing that looks appealing in buying silver right here, right now. Same applies to gold. Looks somewhat better, but same applies to gold. It's still trading within this descending channel. Seems to be finding some support here at the 61.8, but I wouldn't be surprised at all to see a move towards the bottom of the channel, which is currently passing from roughly 1650. So yeah, you're looking for a short-term trade here. I wouldn't advocate to be on the long side. Now, you're looking for a, gaining exposure and holding in time. I have to tell you that I don't find these levels to be unattractive. Quite the opposite, if you ask me. I'm especially in the case of silver because I have all the physical exposure I want to have in gold. And especially in the case of silver, it has started getting very, very close to levels that I'm going to be very, very interested to start investing in buying some physical, especially towards 21, becomes very, very appealing. And if I'm lucky enough to see 19, then I'm going to be super enthusiastic about it. I can tell you that much. Is there
19 would be a gift. I am.
Oh yeah. A gift horse, and you don't look this in the mouth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there an
Amir
ETF
is asking,
for Doge? I don't know.
I have no clue, mate. Honestly, unfortunately for that, you're asking the wrong person. I can talk to you about Dogecoin if you want, because I do track it. Here it is. But I have really no clue if there is an ETF about it. Currently testing the 78.6. It still looks heavy. I have to tell you that much. So I still don't see, technically speaking, a buying opportunity here. Fundamentally speaking, I never saw a buying opportunity here or anywhere else, but that's a different story. On the metals, what is your long-term target or just higher? My long-term target, it depends on what they decide to do, having to do with monetary policy, fiscal policy, and everything else. I don't know what my upside target is because it's too high to even consider it. In my opinion, in my lifetime, I'm going to see gold being at totally different handles than it currently is. It's not easy for me to define it in advance, but I mean, let me be very clear. I will consider it kind of weird to not see $5,000 in my lifetime. I will consider it very, very weird, in my opinion. So yeah.
Depends how long you think you're going to live, man. I mean, come on, 5,000 is
I'm not.
it's going to be quick. It's going to be quick.
I'm not that optimistic, Stelios.
Yeah.
If past performance is indicative of future results.
Yeah.
KC coffee. Let's see about coffee. Let me open it here. KC coffee futures. Let's see what coffee has to say. Coffee has to say what everything has to say, right? Right. All right. Coffee says the obvious truth that when you devalue money, everything costs more. Right? It's not nuclear
From
physics.
silver, don't forget that. Only silver costs less.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So there you go. That's what I think about coffee. What else?
Brand says, I hope coffee goes way down. My latte habit can't handle it. Yes, mine too.
Very true. T-Tech. Let's see, what is T-Tech? T-Tech is breaking out. We had seen it in the past from what I see. We drew this, and yes, it's happening. There you go, little pennant. Back tested the cap and handle formations neckline. There you go. Looks good to me. Against 140. There is only a bullish case to be made against 140. 162.50 is the next target. 1977 kilodron. Oh my God! Yeah, I didn't know that. I wouldn't have even imagined it, to be honest. NVAX. Yeah, you know, the same problems I had, the same problems I still have. Right? You see what I mean? In my opinion, most likely we're still unfolding some kind of a bigger complex corrective move, which is likely to be a triangle, right? So I would remain patient here, and I wouldn't commit in either direction, because there's a very good chance that you're just going to find yourself in choppy waters. So, you know, even from an opportunity cost perspective, I think you'd better put your money elsewhere. Steve, you missed a lot in your childhood. I'm pretty sure I did. WFC. Yikes.
Wells Fargo, yeah.
Listen, if you asked me back here, because the last time we obviously had a look at it was there, right? When I expected higher prices for obvious reason, and it happened because that was a textbook triangle. I mean, not much to say about that. Now, if you asked me again, you know, several weeks ago when we were here, I would have said again, you know, higher. This is a triangle. And that happened also. Now, what troubles me here is the fact, yeah, we did get a new high, which is the minimum expectation out of a triangle. But look at the amazing, I mean, you rarely see that big of a divergence, right? Let's see. And the price action since not impulsive in nature. It's a very tough puzzle to solve, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't know. You can be long against this trend line. I can tell you that much, right? I mean, there is a risk reward trade against this, but we break through this trend line, and trust me, you don't want to be long this. So yeah, I guess we got US new home sales, which were practically as expected. I mean, an inconceivably small bit on the number, but nobody cares. So yeah, if I had to be something, I would be long against 43.5, right? But we break through 43.5 and you don't want to be long. Let me be very clear about that. Okay, so that's what I think about this. After giving it a little bit of an extra thought on the metals, what is your long-term target? Yeah, I answered that. I only have about 10 years to go with the way I have lived, says Chad. Chad, I'm 41 and I feel the same, although not because of the way I have lived mostly, but because, of recent misfortunes. I hope coffee goes away. We are okay. We are that FXI. FXI. Let's see. Not looking that healthy. Right? Not looking that healthy. Nice move lower. Consolidation. Break to the downside. And some kind of a megaphone pattern. Bottom line, below 37.5, very, very bad news. Very, very bad news. So, you like it to the upside. You don't want to see levels below 37.5 because we do see that. And I don't really see any support until we hit that low at 33.10. Okay. So from a risk reward perspective, if you really like it, you can be long here because you have you have the ability to have a tight stop loss. But be careful because it looks heavy to me, and it looks to me like this is likely another consolidation that can break to the downside. Now, combine that with the fundamentals. We know that what's happening currently in China, and the danger is multiplying, right? Now, Alibaba, since you're asking, I have to tell you that I don't like this price action at all. Yeah, I don't like this price action at all. Now, we've started seeing some bullish divergences, admittedly, but I think it's going to be like trying to catch a falling knife. Don't forget that we topped out at 320. We've dropped in very little time, more than 50%. And I don't see any major support areas until we reach this 129.40, right? So, and if you notice the type of price action we have, it's rather impulsive. So, yeah, I don't think I would be buying this. Not yet. Okay. Anything else, guys, girls? Okay, then. Do you think tapering will be enough for the people to stay in dollars? I think that the beginning of tapering might have a temporary positive effect in the dollar because there is going to be Dimitris is asking, sorry, Dimitri, I just saw your question, by the way, about Alibaba. I'm going to finish this and I'm going to tell you the little things I know. But I think the market participants are going to be soon disappointed when they actually realize that the beginning of tapering and the tapering process will probably be slower than people expect. I'm not even sure they're going to manage to finish tapering ever before they're forced to go into increasing quantitative easing again. So I think temporarily the beginning, or anyhow the signal, when we get a nod from the Fed that they know exactly when they will be beginning the tapering, might have a positive dollar effect, but I don't think it's going to be one that lasts for long. Now, Dimitri, what is the fundamental reason behind Alibaba drop? In general, there are several things that have been happening in the company for quite some time. We know, you remember the whole drama behind the fate of, Stelio, remind me, Jack Ma, right? Jack Ma
Yes,
was an,
Jack Ma.
yeah. It seems that they had some issues there. Then obviously something happened. He reappeared. He re-emerged. Now China is in general cracking down on many of the big companies. So I think it's a combination of factors, mostly being the loss of faith that it's a big company that has the backing of the CCP. Now, I haven't dived into its financials to be more specific, to tell you, for example, if earnings or whatever have been as expected or disappointing or whatever, but I think it's a general issue that has been going for years. The market decided to ignore it for a long period of time. Price kept pushing higher and higher and higher. And I think, we reached a climax, which, the risk reward in being long was, totally stupid. And generally, when you have moves like that and they start unraveling themselves, generally, this is the type of price action you get. You get parabolic moves to the upside. Usually, they get resolved in the same manner to the downside. I wish I knew more to tell you, but if I come across anything, I'm gonna read it, and so I'll let you know. Because to be honest, Alibaba is a very important company, for China. Last one, Zim. Let's see. Okay, Zim held this trend line, right? So for the time being, it has done nothing really wrong. Yeah, we had this corrective move lower. Big divergences, big bearish divergences. So you can be long, but be very carefully, because we break through this trend line support. I think we're going to see a deeper corrective move. So would I be chasing it up here? I very, very much doubt it. Okay. Okay, guys and gals, have a wonderful weekend. Get some rest, charge up your batteries.
You too, man.
And we'll see you back. Thank you, Stelio. You too, bro. And
Thanks,
we'll see
everybody.
you back on Monday.
Ta-ta.